if you're like me, you find CG to be insanely frustrating. You might have many other challenges that you've cleared in old school RuneScape, but every time you take a crack at CG, you find yourself taking a break from old school RuneScape. The fact that it's the gateway to endgame PVM, and it has no barrier to entry, means that you should, theoretically, want to do CG. Yet every time you start the grind, you find yourself bouncing off of it in frustration and possibly even a lack of faith in your own ability. It might have even convinced you that you can't do CG, you just aren't good enough. Well, I have news for you. It's not you, it's CG. Corrupted Gauntlet is clinically, this is me saying this not in my own opinion, but in a psychologically verifiable way, frustrating by design. The aspect that turned me on to this was the color red. It is fairly well known and studied that the color red increases anxiety and irritation in subjects. Most famously, this is used in restaurants to increase the table turnover rate by making people less likely to stay and eat for a long period of time. I was aware of this going in, and I found myself wondering if this was why I was so frustrated with Corrupted Gauntlet. And yes, it is actually anxiety inducing. It is actually making you more prone to mistakes and errors while doing CG. This is one of many reasons that regular Gauntlet is laughably easy, while Corrupted Gauntlet is incredibly difficult, especially when you're learning. So as I continued reading about this, I found that basically everything related to Corrupted Gauntlet is frustrating in some way or another. For example, the quote-unquote roguelike nature of the preparation phase. In a roguelike or roguelite, you find random power-ups, random resources, and so on and so forth, which you then use to adapt your playstyle to a future challenge. On the surface level, the Corrupted Gauntlet resembles this, but in reality, that's not what you're actually getting, because what you're doing in the preparation phase for Corrupted Gauntlet is filling out a shopping list, and the RNG nature only serves to deny you items on that shopping list, and some of those items are critical. You cannot complete the challenge without them. For example, if no food spawns, you will not be completing the Corrupted Gauntlet. There are far too many chip damages coming in for you to do it with no food. This is why a roguelike, the variety will increase your joy because you are forced to play styles that you might not have otherwise, or forced to play the cards how they lie. In Corrupted Gauntlet, all the RNG can ever do is deny you a resource. The best case scenario is getting everything fast, and the worst case scenario is having to quit because you didn't get enough. But there is never going to be a scenario where you change your playstyle based on the resources you acquired, because ironically, the only playstyle changing items, the example being the weapons, are consistent enough that you can always get them in time. You can check every room that a boss spawns in and kill every boss in the preparation time every single time. So there is no variety in gameplay provided, only an opportunity for resources to not appear at all. The next part is the boss itself. The way that the Corrupted Gauntlet boss works is that it starts off easy, and as you deal damage, it gets progressively harder. In practice, this means that the only part of the fight that's likely to cause you any real harm or kill you is the final phase. This creates a near perpetual engine of near miss losses. You almost win every single time you don't. And that is psychological torture. It, in gambling, increases frustration significantly, while also increases your chances of gambling again, which is notoriously self-destructive behavior. In a competitive environment, it actually is shown to decrease your self-worth and induce feelings of doubt, because you would have won if you just performed a little bit better. The reason for this is it activates the same parts of your brain associated with victory, but instead of getting the dopamine of victory, you get a crash instead, which is significantly more damaging than just losing in general. And the nature of the fight is going to put you in this scenario almost every time. I do not remember the last time that I died early in the fight, and if I did, it probably didn't bother me that much. But dying at the very end with 1 to 2 attacks away is extremely frustrating and has gotten me to the point of actual rage several times. This is not normal for me, and if you are experiencing this, this is because of the near miss effect. So let's say that you do die and it's time to go restart and try again. Well, before you do, you have to go get your consolation prize. And again, we find another psychological torture mechanism. Consolation prizes can be very good for maintaining motivation, but they can also be incredibly damaging for motivation and, surprise, increase frustration. The way it works is it's compared to your perceived reward. If the consolation prize is something of value or something that you perceive to be valuable, it adds a floor to your risk. It can take the edge off and make you feel like, okay, I lost, but at least I received something that I can use. Generally speaking, you would compare it to the value of your perceived reward. The CG consolation prizes are actual garbage that is completely worthless. You are not even going to bother alching them half the time, because a mithril skirt barely alchs for more than the runes cost themselves. So the little walk to the piece of trash is the absolute maximum possible distance between your perceived reward and the actual consolation prize. It could not be worse. Getting nothing would be significantly more beneficial and less frustrating than getting a mithril skirt. Now, let's say you actually win and you get your reward. Well, again, big surprise, huge shocker. The absolute feast or famine aspect of the rewards from Corrupted Gauntlet means that it's as disappointing as possible. The culprit here is the crystal weapon seed. Whether you're aware of it or not, the perceived reward for Corrupted Gauntlet is one of the best, most expensive drops in the game. And even the fairly valuable alks that you're going to get are going to seem pale in comparison and cause a sense of disappointment. Your expectation and your reward do not align at all. Now, this is not unique to Corrupted Gauntlet, but what is very unique to Corrupted Gauntlet is the quantity of garbage that you receive as a reward. Mithril arrows are an extremely common drop, and are extremely disappointing. When you do 4 kills in a row and roll mithril arrows 2 times on 3 of those, it is going to maximize the frustration. Because unlike a lot of other resource rewards, this isn't going to give you experience. You're not getting fletching. You're not going to be able to sell them for anything. You're not going to alch them, obviously. And selling them to a vendor is a chore in itself. So what you've received is not only a bad reward, but a reward that is going to take effort to remove. You're either going to have to delete it or sell it to a vendor or take it to the GE and sell it for pennies. There's no actual dopamine or sense of accomplishment with rewards like this. And the same thing goes for, you got 200 rubies. It's nice, but it's not anything compared to the crystal weapon seed or the enhanced crystal weapon seed or the armor seeds. You are just going to be getting trash that is low value and almost always requires some effort on your part to process to get that low value. So all in all, what I learned when reading about this is 2 things. 1, I'm not crazy. Corrupted Gauntlet was not just the hardest thing I've had to learn because it's incredibly difficult. It was hard because it's designed to be hard to learn. It punishes you in unique and fascinating ways that other content does not. It rewards you in ways that other content does not. And ultimately, it frustrates you in a way that other content will not. I'm glad to find this out, because I thought I was going crazy. And now I know why, despite the fact that some of the best PVMers I've ever met are in my clan, I never, ever see any of them running Corrupted Gauntlet outside of myself or an Iron Man who is currently in Red Prison. I have never seen any of the players ever go do Corrupted Gauntlet for fun. And I can say with confidence that once I get my enhanced crystal weapon seed and my armor seeds, I will never do Corrupted Gauntlet again.